This is Film Don't Lie on A2D Radio, and we are brought to you by Alonzi Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Reach out to get a quote and start planning. My email is at the bottom on the ticker, Charles at Alonzi-travel.com. We are live. One of the rare times we get to go live and be with you through chat and whatnot. So it's good to be here on Tuesday night chatting with all of you guys. So if you're watching, thank you for being on with us. And I'm excited to get into the live or get into the film breakdowns of Eagles Packers. Before we do, it's your boy Chucks, and it's your boy, as always, Mr. OGP, Pete Evans. My brother, how are you? How you feeling? Oh, he had to bow out for one.
No, I'm here.
You're here. Okay.
Here. There's movement going on behind me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this is what happens when people come home and then the dog gets all excited. So
I got you.
I am doing well. Close family member of ours lost him today. Getting through that, dealing with the lost life is always tough. Puts things in perspective. So shout out to the Hills family. Love you guys. My heart is with you. Big Will, rest in peace. Big Eagles win last night. We talked about it last week. Kind of said like, hey, if they can these next 10 days, if they can get 2 W's, kind of set yourself apart. But there's a team out west in the Pacific Northwest that is starting to worry me just a smidge, a little bit. But that QB would start. He is very, very poignant that he may be seeing some ghosts come January.
So, I mean that is his rep. So he's gotta kind of shed that. But hey, we will see, because they are playing at a high level, and we'll definitely get into that matchup that they have with the Rams, which should be a really, really great matchup. So I'm excited to dive into that. But to start off the show, we, myself and the rest of the boys on Eagles Talk last night, we did our post-game recap show of the Eagles-Packers game, gave our initial thoughts and everything. And that was, awesome show. If you missed it, definitely go check it out. But as usual, Pete and I were here to give you now the gritty all 22 film breakdown, and to show you what we saw on film and our takeaways from that. So let's get to the offensive film breakdown. As usual, I didn't get a chance to watch the defensive side of the ball yet on film, so we're gonna keep this offensive side focused. But that's usually we gave our props, or we all gave our props to the defense last night to and what they were able to do last night. Phenomenal win, and much of the talking points about this game are going to be about the offense and how they struggled. But I think that the defense deserves their just due, because they should be the main storyline, the way they came out and performed. So, last night I gave my game ball to Jalen Phillips, but there's so many defensive players that you could shout out as having a great game. So since you didn't get to speak on it yet, Pete, give your thoughts on defensive performance, the defensive performance against the Packers, and if you want to shout out any specific player and whatnot.
I think we saw the defensive coordinators of both teams last night be one step ahead of the OCs, whether that's Matt LaFleur or Kevin Patullo, and the combination of Nick Sirianni as well. The game plan on the defensive side, it almost feels like Fangio specifically has more ingredients now to prepare a meal, right? To put a new spin, or it's the same old good old recipe, but he can add a little new spin on it, a new perspective on it, right? I like it. I mean, I know we said we were going to get to the offensive film breakdown, so there will be defensive stuff coming out. Follow at Chuck Ferranin, also my handle at OGP at A2D. We'll post that on our socials as we break down film from the defensive side. But I said it last night in our chat. I said, hey, we may be on the verge of having this defense be the best unit on this team and most consistent unit on this team. And granted, don't get me wrong, we had a parade down Broad in February. Jalen was the MVP, but really we won that game in that Super Bowl 59 on the backs of the defense. Really, the offense was timely, But when you have difficulty moving the ball against this defense, and we can even see it from last night game specifically, like the Eagles looked like they had more success and more ease of getting up and down the field. Obviously, and it was more self-inflicted wounds on the Eagles side from the offense, where Green Bay, because they don't want to put any money into a wide receiver on the outside, and they want to be a run first team when they really should be a pass first team.
They drafted Matthew Golden. He wasn't even playing.
Yeah, I mean, and the quick game, they didn't use that. And that could go a testament to what the game plan was for the Packers side. They didn't execute, losing Dobbs during the game, not having Golden coming into the game, losing Tucker Kraft coming into the game. They didn't capitalize on that. I don't think they took advantage of it. And it played into the Eagles' hands. And then we went from 2 weeks ago talking about, okay, where's this pass rush going to be generated from? And now it's like, I mean, we went from rags to riches. The one game went to rags to riches, right? So they have a chance to do it again this Sunday night. But Jalen Phillips looks like he's been here all year. I mean, and once again, his biggest thing was not so much his talent, where his ceiling is, or what his floor is, it's his availability. So if they can keep the kid upright, I mean, rental can turn into an extension. That means somebody that we love on the line right now may not be able to stick around, So I like what I'm seeing. CB2 is still a concern. Quinyon had a really good game last night, but let's be honest. I'm not taking anything away from the wide receivers on the Green Bay Packers that did suit up last night. But I mean, it's nothing that Quinyon hasn't seen so far this year, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna get a test, but I'm confident. Like, I have more faith right now the defense showing up week to week than I do the offense. Right? Yeah, I think that's an easy take to have. That's an easy perspective and an easy lens to look through. I really feel like if we had a more solidified CB2, that this defense would be not on the verge of elite, but elite, right? And Jihad is starting to settle in more. When the Kobe comes, it's like it's almost like when we had the conversation, like, hey, like, what's going to be the role for Campbell when Kobe comes back? Is he going to take a step back? And it's like, to see all this talent on the field on the defensive side at one time, it's just really, Fangio can go in so many different directions outside of just personnel, be able to beat you man to man, old fashioned, right? But now to be able to scheme as well, definitely be a weapon to our advantage, because I mean, we saw it last night. What I've said about Jordan Love all year, even coming into the year, is sometimes the play is just inconsistent. The play is just inconsistent. And with that I won't say subpar is the wrong word to use, but that level of talent that they have on the offensive side of the ball in Green Bay, with this talent that we have again on the defensive side, wasn't going to get the job done if you weren't perfect. And there were throws that were missed, what have you. But when you have the pass rush that not so much from an X's and O's standpoint changes what you do, but the mental processing of the QB, he just can't get to it, because there were plays that there were wide receivers open, but you play a part into having a pass rush get there to rush that process. So the QB may hold on to a little bit longer. He just doesn't see it, doesn't trust it. And that happened more than one occasion last night. So hats off to the defense. Let it be the beginning. And let's keep rolling. And then now we'll get into the not so glorious side.
Not so glorious, yeah. I said this last night real quick, and I wanted to make it apparent too. I really think, because I alluded to even last week on Film Don't Lie, I really think the loss of Tucker Kraft was felt.
Oh,
yeah, like they had no easy buttons last night, and usually Tucker Kraft is that easy button for Jordan Love. They have no one that can get yards after the catch, and I know me and Brinks were in a disagreement over how good Tucker Kraft really is. I think it showed last night that, like, without him, they are that offense is.
Tucker Kraft is almost like a baby George Kittle.
Yeah.
When George Kittle was in his prime.
Yep. Yeah.
And he was on the verge of having his breakout season. But really with the Packers, man, it's just the ideology, because if you go back to the game against the Steelers, I mean, Jordan Love had 20 straight completions. And regardless of what your talent is, and that was all quick game, he still could have used that in this game, right? But LaFleur just didn't take advantage, and the pass rush got there a little bit quicker, So it's kind of a microcosm of a lot of things, and it's like you kind of feel bad for the Packers at the time because it's like, hey, like Golden's out, but then you lose Tucker Kraft for the whole year. He's kind of that one, because if you look at the Packers offense, right, going against our defense, there really wasn't going into it. There wasn't anything where you feel like they truly had an advantage. Yeah. And not to say Tucker Kraft, he's good, but he makes you like that could have been the one spot that you can say, okay, we may have an advantage here, a mismatch here, slightly from a personnel standpoint.
Yeah.
So that's definitely was a big loss.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that from the Packers side, there's a lot of noise right now, a lot of scrutiny surrounding Matt LaFleur and his play calling and how
he see this hot boy.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know how legitimate that rumor report is, how hot his seat is, but he's definitely part of the problem that the play calling just isn't good right now.
It's like they don't know their identity of what they want to do. Mm-hmm. They want to be a run first team, but they don't run block well, but they pass block really well, but they don't want to be a pass first team. Like you can ultimately see if the Packers have a collapse by the end of the season and they don't make the playoffs, which I think would be a failure after the Parsons trade because of the aspiration that you have, because the defense is legit Super Bowl contending defense. I think Jeff Hadley steps right into that role as the head coach, and you may see like a Brian Dable or something like that become the OC.
Possibly. I mean, like I'd be shocked. I'd be floored if LaFleur is gone. I think he's been too good for too long, but you never know. You never know. I mean, we had our own collapse in 2023, obviously, and Sirianni kept his job. So I think LaFleur. I personally think LaFleur is nowhere near getting hands there, but I mean it's the talking point because they're not performing well enough on offense.
Right. Remember, he's been to how many NFC Championships games did he have the Packers in? I want to recall at least 2. He's been there for a while.
I don't know. Yeah, when did he get?
Is either I know he's made it to the divisional round and maybe one conference championship game. So I mean, but it's kind of been that slow decline since then a little bit. Like this is regular season performance. That could be health. It could be this. It could be that. But I mean, he's had some playoff wins under his belt a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the defensive side. I know we got into Packers talk a little bit, but we definitely wanted to talk about that and touch on the Packers side a little bit. But yeah, let's get into the offensive side of the Eagles. Mm-hmm. The inconsistencies reared their ugly head again this week after having 2 hopeful performances before the bye. Do you want to start it off with your first takeaway, or your first thing that you want
just overarching takeaway from the offensive performance last night in the game?
Whatever you want to do. If you want to get into the weeds, or I mean, obviously as usual, I have a lot of notes here, but I don't know how you want to start this off.
Self-inflicted wounds.
Plenty again, which is frustrating.
Fumble to false starts to coming into some play calls and situations to where we just didn't need to put ourselves in that situation. Questionable calls from Sirianni during the game, or scenarios that were questionable that kind of felt like we kind of got away with one a little bit. We were the team that made the least mistakes last night, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And we had the team that has the better playmakers and skill position players on the roster, on the field. Well, I should say on the field last night, and that ultimately came down to it. I don't feel as if we caught them off guard at all from an X's and O's standpoint. I know there's one play here that was close to that. But once again, I give my hats off to Jeff Hadley, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Had a lot of looks that were pressure, some simulated pressures, but a lot of coverage 6, a lot of coverage 5, a lot of zone, and they were not. And the one play that we scored a touchdown on, that was man-to-man. So rightfully so, he had the right game plan. And we at times didn't adjust. I felt like the first drive, that our first possession, that ultimately ended up in a Jalen fumble, which was a great call, one of the better calls of the game by Patullo. That QB design run. But just not as consistent as we would have liked. But if once again, I hear some things like, well, Eagles need to do this, need to do that. Like I give kudos a lot. Like the Packers defense is not nothing to sneeze at, right? I mean, it makes you wonder where they were at for the Cowboys to put up 40, and that was without CD, right? But a win is a win. It's a building block. I've always said this. This team will never walk away. And when they do play a perfect game or a ideal game, it's usually in the playoffs, but like during the regular season, I don't think they ever walk away feeling fully satisfied because they leave a lot. They leave a lot of meat on the bone, whether that's once again, I say from penalties, from turnovers, from bad scheme calls. There was one place particularly, I want to say, maybe after the fourth down turn, the four and out in the fourth quarter. There's a couple of run calls where it's like they're showing you a run blitz and we're not getting into something else. So I mean, visually and verbally, we don't have any we didn't have any plays to where you see what Moro Joma saying inside zone, right here. But I definitely felt as if Hadley was one step ahead. I don't know if that was just, hey, everybody's going to have you marked on their schedule. Everybody's going to bring a little bit extra because you're the defending Super Bowl champions. And they're probably hearing it from every national media pundit and even local media pundit saying like, hey, the Eagles have the best roster in football. So you're going to get everyone's best every Sunday or every Monday or every Friday come Black Friday. So you're going to get everyone's best, right? And I think Sirianni, for some point, we're not seeing on the field, but in the locker room, he says, sometimes me, sometimes we, but always us, right? There's a lot to go into that. And he says, regardless, they're not happy with the standard that they're playing and they could play better at that standard, but we need to see it on the field because there are some plays here where the designs I like. We're greedy though. We live in this we live in a society to where we want that instantaneous satisfaction. And we're not seeing that as much as we would like, but there's a lot of meat left on the bone. There's still time to correct it.
There's some time to correct it. And that was what we were talking about last night too. And I just think everyone agreed that this isn't, because I asked them, is all the goodwill and confidence of the offense have built up, is that out the window? And everyone unanimously said no. There's still hope that they could still fix this and turn it around. Les made a good point. Like they probably psyched themselves out with like the weather, and then the fumble, which I think that Greg Miller touched on. Like after the fumble, they got super conservative. So they probably again, I don't like that conservative approach. I think it drives everyone nuts. But that's just explaining what happened. And I tallied up. I think there were 3 of those give up runs on third down, and third and long, and which I can't.
I love how you call them give up runs. It's essentially like, hey, like, all right, this series is over.
Yeah, we're just gonna hand it off. Like, I have a huge problem with that because I think we saw. I forget which game it was. I think it was it the Rams. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but when we started on third and long, like attacking downfield in the passing game, we started converting some of that stuff. You have 2 elite wide receivers in AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You have a tight end who is arguably like top 5 tight end in the game, one of the better tight ends in the league in Dallas Goedert. You even have Jahan Dotson, who is a good wide receiver 3, who has made plays. There is no excuse, and Saquon Barkley can catch out of the backfield, which we'll get to. We saw him do that. There is no reason for you to just give up on a play, regardless of.
But like kind of mail in a play call.
Yeah.
And to call a play that has the chance to be less successful or less efficient than another play, and you're just kind of saying, and I kind of understand. I say this. I don't like it just like you. But if the sentiment was, hey, like our defense is rolling, we feel confident that they won't be able to move the ball on us. Maybe some credence to that. But like Greg said, after the fumble, and which is another thing, that's an uncharacteristic fumble from Jalen because he usually doesn't go down to the ground in that fashion, But kudos to, I want to say, was it Quay or it was Cooper? Edgerrin Cooper, who we liked out of college, punched it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 2 catches for AJ, 2 targets, almost like he was a decoy last night, a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of and now it's maybe one play, right, where it's a third down, third and long, what have you. But earlier in the year, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, we were having these conversations. It felt like it was the whole series.
Yeah,
the series was doomed to start.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these better plays. It's just more consistency, right? More consistency. And
we lead the league in 3 and out.
3 and out percentage.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and it's by a wide margin. And it's frustrating because it feels like we said this before.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like when they get behind the sticks, whether it be penalty or miscues or a negative run, that automatically kills it because you get behind the sticks and then one incompletion and then third and long. Oh well, we're gonna just give up. It's maddening, and this team, this roster is too talented to have that type of mindset. So I don't know if it's Nick Sirianni or if it's Kevin Patullo, both that are saying that, to have that approach, but I don't agree with it. I think it's a misuse of talent.
And to kind of carry over a conversation from last night's show, just on the subject of Kevin Patullo, I think he's gotten better with this play calling and design somewhat, where he's taking more concepts in. But if I was his worst part and his worst con is sometimes it feels like he has no pulse on the game and the sequencing of the play calls. They just don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh yeah,
what happened to 3, 4?
Yeah, there's no flow to it. It just seems random. There's no I 100%. And there were signs of improvement, but again, this game, it just when it felt like it went back to square one. To get more into the nitty gritty, so we talked about miscues, we talked about the conservative, play calling on third down, third longs, bad sequencing. For the run game, I think that. I was charting pre-Lane Johnson injury and post-Lane Johnson injury. So there were 38 snaps total of Lane being in there because he did come back. So I did include those 38 offensive snaps with Lane Johnson. Out of those 38, 17 were under center if we're not including tush push. So 17 snaps of under center. That's like a high rate. So they were continuing to use under center. Out of all those under center plays, 4 of them were play action. Okay, so again, they're including play action. The tough part this game was that the play action wasn't working. The play action off under center was not working. There was an incompletion on a throwaway. There was an 8-yard completion to Goddard. And then there was another incompletion to Goddard, and then another throwaway. So it really did not work today. This game, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Now, in terms of jumbo, there were 12 snaps of jumbo, with Lane Johnson in there. And what I noticed, and if you can see, I'll dictate here for you. So if I'm going chronological order, there was a 15-yard run. Start off the game from jumbo. 2 yards, 7, 7, -2, 3, 5, 5, 2, 2, 1, 1. All right. So I think if you're looking from an overall picture and how it went, I think that it started off pretty well and then just went down as the game went on. And I feel like the Packers were just really getting a bead on what we were doing in the run game, and were attacking it really aggressively. Like their back seven was really coming downhill and really playing their run fits really well. And so there was nowhere to go. So I think, again, good stuff with Lane in there in doing what has been working. A good defense like the Packers they were able to stymie it. You got to now throw another counterpunch. You got to throw another wrinkle, to be able to counter that. Without Lane, this is what's staggering. Without Lane, there were 26 total snaps without Lane. There were only 3 under center snaps out of those 26. And one of them was a play action, which was incomplete, but it was the one that was a defensive pass interference. Okay. So you get that. And then there was only 1 snap of jumbo, which had a 6-yard run. So again, like I had said that I feel like when Lane came out during the game, I said I feel like they're gonna go away from jumbo. And they did. They went away from a lot of the under center. They went away from jumbo until he came back. So I'm glad he came back, but that was a try. I feel like you see that, and it going jumbo and under center was a big part of their game plan that they had to scrap without Lane. So take that. What is it? What is it?
The under center, and I get it with the play action. It's harder to conceptually, from a concept perspective, right? Conceptually, it's going to be harder for play action to hit when it's a cover 4 or a cover 6. Yeah. Just in zone, it's because the whole motion of play action is you need a man to bite and to take the bait, right? And you're going to have that a little bit easier if you're playing man to man. And Hat was like, no, I'm not. You literally have 2 wide receivers that are consistent man beaters. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to expose myself like that. The one, and then like the seam route to Calcaterra, that was open. So that's why I think
that's a miss. Yeah,
that was just a miss. So that was there. They didn't call it enough, and I would have, if I was KP, I probably would have called that more, called that seam route, and throw it and connect on it until to force them to do something else like that. I feel like that if he doesn't fumble on that first drive and we get 7 there, I feel like
it would have been different.
It would have been different.
Yes. Yeah.
The conservativeness or the shyness or lack thereof to push the envelope, proverbially speaking, that sentiment, that feeling wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You talk about like the Packers running a lot of cover 6. And you talk about the miss of Calcaterra. Yeah, like it felt like after they came out in the second half, they had those. So there were 2 throws, the 22-yard hitter to Goddard, which was a good play and good throw by Jalen Hurts in the middle of the field, intermediate. I guess you can say it's a deep pass because it's 22 yards, but really good design and throw there. And then that followed up with the Calcaterra. That's just, that's a miss that Hurts has to connect on. But it seemed like they made a concerted effort out of the half to attack that side of the field. With the Packers playing cover 6. And, the people are wondering what happened with AJ. Yeah, it's with the Packers playing a lot of cover 6, AJ consistently ended up having a safety over the top on his side because AJ usually is the isolated receiver to the boundary, and with cover 6, you play half field half field safety to that side to the boundary. So AJ had that, and so that might have contributed to him not really having a bunch of targets. What should they have made more of an effort to find a way to beat that? I think so.
Yeah, I mean that's easy.
It's AJ Brown. Like you've got to come up with ways to attack and beat that side of cover 6. So I almost
wish like the route tree within the playbook they allowed AJ to expound more because it almost makes it seem like Devontae over the last 2 or 3 games has been more malleable, right? But that's just for him playing his position and what his route tree is according to the playbook. Like there's one play in particular, I think it was like a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7, and Devontae sat down right in his zone across the middle, sat there. The crossers, and it's difficult because when you have the digs and the crossers that they typically run with AJ, and you're running that against a formation of zone, the DB doesn't have to run, so you have these split seconds of windows that you can hit pay dirt, right? And the other side of this is, let's not forget, like they were literally lining Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary up side by fucking side, and they have Devontae Wyatt at the same with pressure from the inside. So we could say these things. It wasn't like Jalen had all the time in the world consistently.
He didn't. Yeah,
they were to make these throws, right? But that's where, hey, like you need to hit on the opportunities that you do have, and they have done that in the past. That's why that 22-yarder to Goddard, when that hits, they come right back and go to Calcaterra. He hits that throw. That I think that they would be at inside of the 10-yard line at that point. Who knows what happened, right? And then you saw spurts of the run game. We kind of talked about it vaguely before we came on. Rashawn Gary with the leg whip that wasn't called, and then everybody's talking about the Micah one because that was so obvious that was a trip.
I posted on Twitter and it's going off. I got Packers fans in my mentions like really angry at me for pointing it out and disagreeing. But you can go see the play. I mean, we're gonna highlight it actually, and we'll get into it.
And
you can talk about it.
Tota's done serviceable, but we need Cam back.
Yeah, and hopefully
which is rightfully so. I don't feel as if anybody would be shocked by that, but especially with the under center runs, if you're running that inside zone with Cam Jurgens, it's a different story.
To the second level and to move, you can pull him better. 100%.
And Saquon looked like he was faster as the game went on because you saw it in the first couple of quarters. Like it was like,
are you?
Are you right? Are you okay?
Yeah. It seemed like, especially after that 15-yard run, I was worried. I was like, did he re-injure it?
Right. Did he re-aggravate
it? But he did get better as the game went on. He got what was there. And so, I don't think any of the runs were really his problem. Other stuff in the passing game, you mentioned, the defensive line of the Packers. They really played well. They gave our offensive line a lot of fits. The one of the issues right now in this game was Jalen, like you said, didn't have much time to throw, and he was really setting the pocket back, far back beyond the line of scrimmage, really deep pocket, and it didn't help that a lot of the Eagles route concepts or a lot of the Eagles play calls. They only had 3 receivers out on the route. So when you're playing cover 6, that's not ideal. Not a lot of receivers are going to get open when there's only 3 receivers out on the route. So it's just, bad. It was a very questionable approach and game plan from the passing game's perspective. The approach for the run game, I can see what it was. As I mentioned before, with Lane in there, I could see what they were trying to do. But the passing game it was a mess, and we'll get into some of the stuff when we bring up the clips. Just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to.
One thing I'll hit on is this with the cover 6 and seeing it, where was the correlation, and then I think Lane going down for those 26 snaps. One of the ways you can kind of, like you said, counteract cover 6 is if you just go empty and you spread everything out four wide receiver sets. But with this type of defensive line that you were seeing and a push that they were getting somewhat consistently, that's and where you were at in a spot in the game from a score perspective, right? So at no point did I feel as if the Packers were going to force the issue for the Eagles to react in a certain way, right? I felt like at some point, if the levee was going to break, it was going to break in our favor, which it did, right? So now from that point forward, the Packers had to counteract every time, and our defense was up for the call, but then we couldn't capitalize on that from an offensive perspective, whether it be we're at a 3rd and 5, I think it was 3rd and 5, and then really it was, I want to say it was Dickerson that moved first, but then they end up getting Malata on it. Then that puts you at 3rd and 10, and then now at that point, exactly. And that was kind of uncharacteristic. So things like that have to be buttoned up, is because when you're playing against that type of caliber defense, right? And the offense, like you may not. I'm trying to think the rest of the teams in their schedule. So they have Lions, Cowboys, Bears. That's the rest of the games this month. For this month, and then I think next month you have Bills. You got the Commanders in there twice, which is, I mean, that's looking like that's going to be a very welcome, very welcome. Bear, you got the Commanders twice. You got the Bills. I think you got the Raiders in there somewhere.
Hold on. December is I can pull it.
You got Chargers in there somewhere too.
We do. Chargers is the 8th. December 8th on Monday Night Football.
That's in LA, right?
That is in LA, but it's LA. It's a home game for us. Yeah. Then you got the Raiders the next week on December 14th on the Sunday. And then I believe the Commanders game is scheduled to flex, but that's the following week. It's supposed to be on a Saturday, the 20th. And then the week after is when you have the Bills on the 28th. And then you end the schedule with the Commanders week 18. So defensively, it's probably the Chargers is probably the best defense. If you're going, we have left, yeah.
As far as how, if you want to use our weapons against them, passing the ball, and you can't run it. If you can't run the ball against them, then it's going to be. It could be difficult. It could be difficult.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to some clips. So, I'm going to take.
You want to hit on any of the comments as we, like you said, with rare occasion we go live.
Yeah, I've been pulling some of this up. I know Greg Miller also says Packers defense has some Georgia Bulldogs on it, like Philly, Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker, and Javon Bullard, as well as Stackhouse and Brinson. So yeah, they have some Georgia players on there. And then KZ says time for the running game to awaken. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. I'm still confident in the run game to wake up. All right, so let's get into some clips. The first one I want to bring up. This is a good. There weren't many good things that KP and this offense did, but this one was one of them. We've got motion by Smitty across the formation pre-snap, and why is it good? Is because usually Eagles motion doesn't really mean anything, right. But in here it does. So you get motion out wide, and you get the play action to, I believe that's Bigsby. And,
it is Bigsby.
Yeah, Bigsby, and then you have Devontae on that screen. So it's set up really well. As you can see, all the Packers defenders were flowing the opposite way. So there's a lot of space for Smitty to work with. This almost went for an even bigger gain. I know some people were trying to say like, oh, this would have been a house call. No, this was not going to be a touchdown. Quay Walker's right there, but it could have been an even bigger gain.
33 for the Packers. Is that Williams?
Well, this is McKinney, Quay. And then
33 made a tackle. That's who Devontae ultimately ended up scoring the touchdown.
Evan Williams, correct. Yeah, the safety. So, yeah, it's a good play, and I think Baldy did a breakdown where he said he wants more of these play calls, for the Eagles. I agree. I mean, like overall, the Eagles haven't been a good screen team since Andy Reid, or I guess maybe you can say Chip Kelly, but. Stuff like this. This is a good design, good screenplay. So kudos to them. I like it. Anything else you want to add?
No, I liked it as far as the motion set starting out from the formation, motion to that side to create that space. Kind of with no one following it, go zone. Fred Johnson gets out there fast, and it was just a really good tackle. I mean, maybe Devontae gets another 5 yards, 6 yards at most.
I'd say like 5-6 yards, yeah.
Yeah, at most, and he has that boundary side to his advantage. I mean, but it came at a point and there was a 2nd and 20.
Yeah,
first half 9 something. No, is that Q2 3:44 left? So yeah.
All right, so that's that. Good screen call. Hopefully, we see more of that moving forward. The second play I wanted to bring up, this is right before halftime. So we just got in that fumble, and we had discussed this in the chat a little bit. I still think looking at this is a missed opportunity by Hurts, regardless of the situation. But you can see we have Smitty at the top here highlighted. He's going to be the target, and it's going to zoom in here. You can see Hurts in the pocket. Now when he hits his drop, right? I want to run a little bit. Right. So he hits the top of this drop. Usually you want the quarterback to have that, that to really step into the throw after his drop, right? Because Fred Johnson gets pushed back, he is unable to really step into it. So he's kind of flat-footed, as you can see here. And because he's flat-footed, that's what makes this throw an underthrow. And he misses Smitty. If Smitty catches that, you're at the 47, 48 yard line with 10 seconds left, and I think you still had 2 timeouts, so you could have called possibly one more play and then attempted a field goal. So I think I don't think this gets talked about enough, but I think this was another one of those big unfortunate misses by the Eagles offense where just a little thing results in an incompletion and a missed opportunity. But
a lot of error on that ball too. That's kind of that was the key indicator. I was like, whatever it was, he did not throw that ball with the efficiency that he wanted to throw. Yeah, he usually throws it.
He didn't get much on it, but I still like, and I understand it. I know it's easier said than done 100%, but I still think like even with that pressure in the pocket, you've got to still find a way to make that throw. If you're one of the top quarterbacks in the league, that's a throw you should still kind of make.
And it happens so quick. It's almost like if he welcomed, you don't want to do this. This is just very splitting hairs. Is if you welcome that pressure and what Jalen doesn't like to do is to roll out and run to his left side and throw. But you know what I mean? So I think, we can, but this is the stuff where we're saying, hey, like, we're not trying to be perfect. This is your first time listening to us, catching us live. We don't want them to be perfect. We just want them to be more efficient and put themselves in a position to be able to succeed. And this is obviously lanes out.
Yeah, because this is also on Fred Johnson. He gets he gets pushed back in the pocket. So like Fred has to be able to anchor down better than this, because if he's able to anchor down even a little bit better, Hurts probably substitute a throw. So this isn't to target Hurts. This is on Fred Johnson too, and just we're highlighting it because it's just a missed opportunity that could have led to 3 points before the half.
But it wasn't so bad to where he got off of that read, and that's kind of on Jalen. So like if he could have came off that read and he didn't have time, like he wouldn't have been able to come off that read, scan the field to his left, and stay in the same spot. Like he would have had to be on the move. You know what I mean? Like at this point right here, make the decision, step up, run out.
Yeah. I mean, you had timeouts to use, so you could have. But from that, let's get into some positive plays, and this is where the game kind of turned. It was early fourth quarter, and you've got this is the fourth 41-yard catch run by Saquon, and what you'll see here, this goes to him, but if you look at everyone's routes, all of them are going to be to the boundary side of the the formation, boundary side of the field, and because of that opens up a lot of space for Saquon here. The only receiver that's there on the same side of the field is AJ Brown, and as we all know, on this he's going to do a good job of blocking downfield. But Saquon does an amazing job. That he makes it look so easy when he does this stuff now. Like, if there's a defender, I don't care who it is, one-on-one versus Saquon in open space, it's like automatic almost at this point where Saquon's going to make them miss. So spin move, awesome stuff. And again, like we said, awesome job by AJ Brown to block downfield to be able to extend this play for as long as it did. But yeah, it worked out well to where most of the routes cleared that side of the field, and Hurts did a good job going through the progressions, hitting the check down, and letting Saquon just make something happen. So awesome stuff. What did you have anything to add?
No. No, I mean I like the play design here. I mean, you get your playmaker, and a good job by Jalen getting off, doing everything in this play that he didn't do in the last play, but he had a little bit more time. And this, hey, like Saquon Barkley in open space against your DB or linebacker, I like our chances.
And I forget who mentioned it on Twitter, but like credit to AJ Brown again, like not being targeted a ton, but he's still out here doing work as a blocker downfield and helping make this play. So, credit to AJ Brown. Everyone wants to say like he's a diva, blah blah blah. But no, this shows one of the ways he's still like a great teammate. So awesome stuff by AJ there. Next play, this is pretty much the next play. Now there's a lot to break down here. This is the 36-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith. So what I want to point out is the defense, as I put up here, they're in quarters. And as oddly enough, there was some drama on Twitter where someone tried calling out Mina Kimes, which never works out. If you're listening and you're on Twitter,
Mina
like,
always
never try calling out Mina Kimes. It never works out. Like you will always end up as the losing party in a Twitter battle with Mina Kimes. Like if you try to one up her, like she's the one person you're not gonna be able to one up. She does the work. And she knows what she's doing. So, anyways, there was some troll that was trying to criticize her, saying you don't beat quarters with deep shots. And lo and behold, the Eagles scored a touchdown deep against quarters. So the Packers are in quarters here. There's Smitty highlight at the top. What I want you to notice here, and it's going to freeze, is when you're in quarters, you know what? Let me back it up. When you're in quarters, right, you have the two corners and the safeties, right? So the corners are going to play. You're pretty much quarter of the field. They're called quarters because you're quarter of the field for each of them. The corners are going to take these outside routes, whoever develops there, and then the safeties are taking number 2 or vertical, right? I'm shortening it. There's a lot more detail to it. So if you're listening, yes, there's more to it than that, but I'm trying to just say it in like, Spark Notes version. So quarters, those are the assignments. So on this play, the way it's aligned, the way it worked out, the corner at the top, he has Dotson. I believe that's Dotson. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming down. He's waiting for Dotson to enter his area so he can come down and crash.
So Dotson's technically, when the ball is snapped, Dotson is the number 1 receiver. He's on the outside of Smitty. So he's the number 1. That corner is going to match him as long as he's there. So like that's him. Same thing on opposite. You have the corner at the bottom of the screen. He is on AJ. He matches AJ. Okay. The safety, because this is a 1x2. This is a 1x2 formation pre-snap. The safety here to the field side, he is going to take number 2. So he is matched up. He's going to match Devontae Smith as we see it. Okay, so he's going to match up with Smitty. Now, McKinney, right? The other safety to the boundary side, right here. Is, because it was a 1x2 formation, he is the robber. Okay, so there is no number 2 receiver for him to take. So his responsibility is to be the robber. So this is his area. He gets to roam this area between like the 30 and the 20, right? That's his area to roam. Because he takes that approach, as you can see, he's kind of like just kind of eyeing down the quarterback here, keeping eyes on the quarterback where he's going to go. But he's caught in I'd say he's kind of like no man's land. Because of that, that's what gives Smitty, who's going to run the post, the advantage here. He's going to run the post, and that's how you beat quarters. You run a post on quarters because the safety doesn't have that help.
Right. The safety has to make a decision, especially if you're running something in front of him.
Yeah, to cross face.
Like the AJ route, the crosser route.
Yep. Exactly. So that's what does this, is because on the field side, Smitty's able to run that post without anyone really being there as the double coverage. He's one-on-one with the safety, and that's a matchup you take every single time. And that's why you beat quarters. One way to beat quarters is by running a post. So that's what happens here. Hurts has a pump fake. There's no safe. there's no help from the other safety, and Smitty is able to. And this ball is a little underthrown, but when you have Devontae Smith, you can kind of underthrow a ball and it still couldn't be fine. So amazing job by Smitty. Anything you wanted to add?
No. Good play call, good play execution. The design itself, I like it. And then Hurts just putting the ball in a position to lead a little bit, but give our guy a chance to make a play.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so the next one. This is the infamous. Again, this is where I'm getting a lot of heat on Twitter.
Damn you, Micah.
So if you're watching this, you tell me what you think, okay? You tell me what you think. I'm gonna play it, and it's gonna freeze frame. I'm gonna show you now. Here's where Micah is going to stick his leg out and trip Saquon. Okay, now it's gonna go to the end zone angle too, but I'll start it here. And
you can kind of see there's one person to beat.
So the people that are giving me grief, they're saying that one, Quay Walker, the linebacker over here, has a shot at him, and then McKinney here also has a shot at him. Quay Walker is 2 gaps over. If Saquon is hitting this almost full speed, if he bursts through the hole and gets to the second level, I'm sorry, Quay Walker is not catching Saquon Barkley. I don't understand where people think Quay Walker is going to catch him here with that. He's 2 gaps over. So there's too much. Saquon would have too much momentum and too much forward vertical burst to be caught by Quay Walker. Now, the other thing is you have Xavier McKinney, the safety, over top here. If you watch this, I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. Look at the approach and look at where McKinney steps before. You see how he's approaching that field. There's 2 steps, and when it stops freezing, you can see his the angle that his momentum is taking him. That angle is not going to be. He's not going to be able to catch that to catch Saquon. If he's taking that angle, he's taking it kind of like this way. He doesn't have the speed, and rarely any DB does, to catch Saquon running full speed from here. So this is why I say this would have been a house call, because Quay's not getting him. I don't think McKinney's getting him. And even if McKinney does have a better angle, McKinney one-on-one in open space, we talked about it earlier on the 41-yard catch and run. McKinney in open space versus Saquon Barkley one-on-one, that's advantage Saquon. So again, this is the end zone angle, and we're going to show you here. So there's a trip, right? Quay Walker's right here. He's 2 gaps over. He's not going to catch Saquon. McKinney's over here. Look at, I don't understand why Packers fans refuse to see it. And if this was, I'm going to be totally objective and be honest here. If I felt there was a good chance that Saquon would have gotten stopped anyway, then I would admit it. I'd say, okay, yeah, I don't think this would have been a house call. But I look at this, I'm like, this would have been a house call. This would have been a touchdown. We've seen Saquon break off these type of runs where he's through the second level and no one in the second and third level can keep up with him. So I'm confident. But what say you, Pete? Do you agree? Like, what does this look like to you?
No, a house call. And it should have been an electric call, another 15-yard penalty. I like the play design. I like the push that we get. I think this is that jumbo package. Now, it's weird because they ran the jumbo package with Fred Johnson on the opposite side of the lane. We usually run them on the same side.
On the same side, yeah. They run opposite here. So this is one of the successful runs out of jumbo late in the game when Lane came back in. So again, like the jumbo was part of the game plan, I really feel like. And it was working, at some points. But this could have been a house call. Now I'll contribute this. I'll count this as definite like successful run. So I good job. It's unfortunate. I'm not like if we had lost, I think I'd be really pissed off about this. But this is more of like I saw it, and during the game, I was like, "Oh my god! If we lose because of this, I would be mad." But we won, so it's not that big a deal. But I'm using this more as like confirmation. Okay, like this confirms what I felt. I felt like this was going to be a touchdown had he not gotten tripped. So yeah, the film kind of confirms it for me. So
yes.
Before we get to the last one, Greg Miller says, "Me personally, I don't have a problem with Mina Kimes. Mina, keep up the good work." Yeah, Mina Kimes is one
I
of
don't
the
know who
best.
does have honestly, genuinely has a problem with Mina Kimes.
There are a lot of people that have a problem with her, and
she's such a cool person.
It's for non-football reasons, as you would be able to assume. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should be on Twitter more to see the stuff that she has. The responses she gets, oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Probably very unadult like.
Again,
low-hanging fruit,
non-football reasons.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. All right, last play. This is the infamous 4th down call. Now, the reason why I want to show you this is because I think it's been talked so much the past 24 hours. It's been said now that Jalen and AJ decided on this shot downfield, right? It was their decision. I don't know the details. Everyone is speculating.
Right. It's all speculative.
If you're going to ask me what I think happened, I think Sirianni made a decision to go for it. I think that there was a separate play call, or maybe it was this play call, but or there was some type of passing play called, and Hurts and AJ decided, oh no, we're going one-on-one, we're going deep shot. I think that's because everyone keeps saying they went rogue, but I think going rogue means regardless of what the play call was, they were gonna go for a deep shot here. So yeah. I think that's what happened. If I'm gonna roll this, right, let's look at the routes that everyone else has. So Smitty, I think this is Goddard, I think Dotson. There's no one open
at all.
There's no one open at all. Would I still have thrown this? I don't know. There's a single safety over top. And if you think you have a good chance with AJ, because AJ, that safety isn't close enough to make a play. So right. When I first watched it, I thought the safety could have made a play on it, but watching it back, no, he wouldn't have been able to make a play. So if this was the play call, I get it. Them just trying to throw it deep and going with the kill shot. But I still think this was a bad decision to go for it. I still put this on Nick or whoever it was to decide to go for it on 4th. I am, me, Pete. I love being aggressive. I love offensive being aggressive. I love what Dan Campbell does 4th down. I think I'm also aware that there's a time and place. I think with the circumstances of the situation, you're on the 35, bad weather. I still, my stance from last night stands. I still would have either kicked the field goal, or punted it. I would have been good with either decision. This decision to me is not. I don't agree with this decision. But what do you think?
I don't agree either. I did because at this point it's like either make the attempt if you were going for a 4th down, then the field goal should be present because then at that point you're up 6. Like you need to make them go as far as possible yards wise. I personally would have punted because once again their offense showed me nothing to really scare me on our defense to know that we wouldn't make a stop because even how they got their 7 was on a good chunk of that was on a pass interference call that Ja'Kai Campbell had on. I want to say it was Luke Musgrave. If I'm not mistaken, is the backup tight end there?
Well, he's a starter now that Tucker Kraft.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
When Kraft is healthy, I think they literally drafted them both in. I want to say
Musgrave was actually taken before Kraft. So yeah.
Just it hasn't panned out to Kraft. We'll see. We'll definitely see. But I mean, I wouldn't have done it. And this is why I said we'll go back to the beginning of the show where we talked about Sirianni kind of getting lucky. We saw a couple of coaches this past week get it because Steichen coached to lose the game, kept going for it. That had almost cost him the game. And then now with this one, like the ultimate decision to go for a 4th and 6. If you look at that probability chart and they don't hit that, it probably went from like 60% down to like 50 or 48.
And the Packers were very close to getting into field goal range. They almost had that shot.
That was the worst game-ending kick I've ever seen in my life. you talking about somebody giving up a play call?
Oh God, yeah. Anything else from this game before we move on to our preview?
No.
Yeah,
nothing else from this game. Good win. Get it. We'll come again on the 16th, this upcoming Sunday. Another primetime game, Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, yep. All right, so I'm excited to talk about this game real quick because it's Rams Seahawks, and if you're being a non-biased Eagles fan, or just being a non-biased fan whatsoever, I think there's a legitimate case you could make that the Seahawks and Rams are the two best teams in the NFC. So them playing each other this Sunday is like awesome stuff. Don't be surprised if you're watching this. Don't be surprised if our show next week we lead it off with Rams Seahawks. So depending on how the Eagles Lions game goes too, maybe we'll break down both games. But the Eagles Lions and then Seahawks Rams, very very enticing and intriguing matchups ahead for this Week 11 slate. You want to lead it off with what you are looking forward to this? Or
if the Seahawks can do it against this type of interdivisional game, interconference game, not conference, but interdivisional game, and I think it's in LA.
It's in LA.
Yeah, this is the test. This is the litmus test for if what we're seeing up to this point and all this love that they're getting, if it's real.
Yeah.
This is the one if it's real, because Rams are rolling right now.
They are both of these teams.
Both are rolling, but I mean that's also goes quarterback. The quarterback Stafford, who won a Super Bowl, who we think the world of, Matt Stafford. We think he's underrated. Versus Sam Darnold, who may have found some resurgence last year into this year. But guess what? Man, still saw some ghosts. And whatever reason, I don't know how many carries did K9 have Sunday?
It was like 14-ish.
And how many?
Both of them had like 14, around 14.
I don't understand what's going on with the 50-50 timeshare.
Yeah, dude, bro, like I don't know. No one knows. Like you've got people that are defending it, saying Sharps is better. You got people saying it needs to be.
Sharps is what?
There are people that think Sharps is better than K9.
Noted.
So I'm just I know. I don't know what they see, but I think a lot of it are fantasy heads because they see touchdowns and the higher fantasy scores, so they think Sharp's better. But anyways, yeah, I am on the side of this rotation doesn't help either of them. Yeah, I get that Sharps is getting touchdowns, so it's not really like you can argue fantasy wise it's not hurting him. But in terms of actually, so the Seahawks run game is one of the worst in the league. Why do you think that is? It's because the rotation, and it's not even like there's a rhyme or reason to the rotation. If you watch them, they sub each other, they sub in and out, both of them. They sub in and out like at random situations and random snaps. It's like
it's not like what the Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson is.
Yeah, or it's not even fully like you remember when the Falcons, when they went on a Super Bowl run, they had the combo of Tevin Coleman. Literally, Kyle Shanahan's approach was Devontae, this whole series is yours. The next one, Tevin, this whole series is yours. That was, and then they alternate. Cool. That's not even the case here. Like you'll have K9 being there for one play, and then he'll sub out.
Right.
Sharps will be there for one play, and then he'll sub out again, and K9 will go back in. I don't understand like the rotation, and I think that it doesn't help either of them. And I think it doesn't help K9 because with him being the better running back, he's not able to get into a momentum and then
get into rhythm.
Yeah, get into any type of rhythm.
Unlike the Rams, because Kyrie Williams, if we can hold on to the football, but we're starting to see Blake Corum get more involved on a consistent game-to-game basis. So, I mean, the game as a whole is a game that you would want in the 11th week of the season, and it means a lot because both teams, I think, are 7-2 or
something like that.
I want to say both of them are 7-2.
Hold on, I'll have it here. Right, give me 1 second. Both of them. Yep, both of them are 7-2.
Yeah,
both of them are 7-2. So it's a lot. So, the Seahawks win
severe, the loser of the game, because then you go from I think Seattle is first place right now. If the playoffs,
I don't know what the tiebreakers are, but you could be right.
I think their divisional record, because the Rams have a divisional loss against the 49ers, so they may be 1-1, and I think the Seahawks are.
Yeah, Seahawks are. Yeah, they have the tiebreaker. So
2-0.
They're 7. They're against it. It doesn't say what the record against the division is, but they have the tiebreaker essentially. But and then obviously the Niners are there at 6-4. But yeah, it is a huge game. I think I'm looking. So the run game, it's hard when you look up each team's stats and on both sides of the ball, both of them are both defenses are phenomenal. So it's hard to really pick out, okay, where can you attack each defense, because it's both of them when healthy. I know that the Seahawks, yes, they had that game against, what was it, the Bucks, where they couldn't stop them. But keep in mind, so many of their secondary was hurt. So they didn't, but now they're back. So they're healthy. With them healthy, that defense doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Same thing with the Rams. Doesn't have a lot of weaknesses right now. But if I'm looking at matchups, what I think is the key matchup, the Seahawks run game, I don't think is going to have any success against this Rams defense. So the Seahawks are the most explosive passing offense in the league. 22.8% of their pass play results in an explosive play. 22.8%. That's almost a fourth of their pass plays are explosive plays. The Rams, to counter that, are the 5th best in the NFL at preventing explosive passes at 13.8%. So that the reason why I'm highlighting that matchup is because while I have confidence, I think I do have some confidence in the Seahawks corners and secondary being able to match up somewhat against the Rams. I think that with the Rams secondary, I don't know if they have someone who can match up against JSN. And to be honest, I don't know if there's anyone in the league outside of maybe Patrick Surtain that can match up against JSN right now, because he is absolutely on a tear.
You don't think Quignon? You didn't even give a shout out to Quignon?
Maybe Quignon. So yeah, maybe I should mention Quignon too, because Quignon does excel against the quicker type of receivers. So yeah, maybe we throw Quignon too. So Surtain, Quignon, but there aren't a lot of corners that can match up well against JSN. And you looking at the Rams, secondary, and they have good pieces, especially Quentin Lake. Quentin Lake is balling, one of the better nickels safeties in the league right now. But Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes, and Quentin Lake. So, and then the safeties consist of Cam Curl and Cam Kitchen. So good names, but are they the caliber of corner to be able to stop or limit JSN? I say no. So that's where I think the key matchup is. And
it's also a Cooper Kupp revenge game too.
Oh yeah, Cooper Kupp revenge game. There's that. And then remember, they have Shaheed now. And they started to get him involved a little bit last week in his first game. That should only begin to, continue to
expound on that. Yeah.
Yeah, his involvement. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this Seahawks passing attack, their explosive passing attack against the Rams pass defense. Can they be? I think that if the Seahawks can continue to be what they are and kind of
their identity.
Yeah. then I think advantage Seahawks. So that's a matchup.
Advantage Seahawks, but I think the Rams win the game.
You think it's going to be a shootout, or what do you think? You don't have to give a score prediction, but do you think it's going to be
divisional games are always weird because they're either really tight or it's wide open.
This is the first one, too, of the season between them.
I don't know. Is Witherspoon healthy?
Yeah. He's back.
I think whatever. If the over is set like 51.5, I think I feel like I would take the over.
The over. Okay.
I would take the over.
Yep. So remember, Josh Jobe is there too for the Seahawks, who's been playing. He's been playing really well. Nick Emenwari is starting to come on for them in the nickel. Right. He's playing really, really well. They're safety. So I mean, I'm not saying, again, to be fair, I'm not saying that the Seahawks can stop the combo of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Right. What I'm saying is I have a little bit more faith in that matchup than I do the other way around, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm watching. But again, I could be wrong. It could would I be surprised if the Rams totally lit up that secondary? Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends like 41-38. So
right.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Did you want to give a score prediction? I'm not good at score prediction.
Nah. Score prediction.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's at 4. That game is at what? 4:25? Yeah, 4:05. 4:05 on Sunday. Make sure you tune in for that. All right. No huddle. What you got?
Nothing.
You got nothing. I have
non-football related. Go see Predator Badlands when you get a chance.
I want to so bad. There are a lot of movies that I really want to see right now, but I probably won't be able to see. We did just buy tickets to see Zootopia in a few weeks. Zootopia 2 with Gray. Because he's starting to really be good with watching movies. So we're excited for that. And Mary and I are trying to find out a date when we can watch the sequel to Wicked for Good.
Okay.
So we're just going to see that.
My wife and my girls, I don't get the appeal of it.
The musical. Mary loved that musical. So when it came to when it became a movie, it was a thing. And I'll admit, the first one surprised me. And I'm not big on musicals. I'm not big on musicals at all. Rarely do I find a musical made into a movie that I enjoy, but that one was good. So I'm excited for it. But there are a lot. I want to see Predator Badlands. There were a few other ones coming out or that are out now that I'm like, I wish I could see that. I wish I could see it. I think The Running Man with Glenn Powell.
Yeah, The Running Man with who's the lead? Who's the lead in that?
Glenn Powell.
Okay.
Yeah. Want to see
the new this decade's Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or he, like you said, he wants to be the next Tom Cruise. So
yeah,
there's that. For mine, one game that we didn't get to touch on was we were going to talk about the Patriots Bucks.
And we didn't Pat's real, man.
Pat's legit, and I'll say this: they won with Drake May not even playing that great of a game, and they still won. That defense played really well. But you know what? Shout out to both Trevion Henderson, who had 2 explosive runs today. He is a bit of a feast or famine type of runner. Most of his yardage did come on those two long runs. But hey, that's what he's here for.
One was 50-something.
Yeah, but that's what he's here for. He's here for explosive plays. So he finally had his breakout game. And Sean Tucker, man, it's slow and steady, but I think the past 2 weeks now he's outpaced Rashad White.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Done for the year?
No, he'll come back eventually. They just they're playing his injury weird. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back next week, but if he's not back next week, I think you could continue to see Tucker outpacing Rashad White. They'll still split the carries, but I think it's showing. And I said this is one of my hot takes before the season was Sean Tucker is going to start to overtake Rashad White, and I think we're starting to see it. He's outpaced them 2 straight games. So White is probably the better overall player in terms of he can catch. He's good at catching the ball in the backfield. But Tucker, I think, when it comes to pure running, is the better runner. So shout out to them and to both of those running backs. And then last thing I want to hit on, like, yo, what the heck happened with the Bills? Getting blown out by the Dolphins.
Man, that's why I said this year is so week to week, bro. It's so week to week. Divisional games kind of mean something and not kind of mean something. They definitely are getting a little wonky. You know, definitely a little wonky as far as just consistency. Like I think you asked me about. Did you ask me about wasn't the Falcons? Who did you ask me about? You was like, are they playing up to their competition or playing down to their competition?
Oh, yeah. It was the Vikings versus the Colts. Because remember, it was a tight game for most of us. So
no, it was Falcons Colts. Falcons Colts.
Yeah. So because they played the London game, and I texted you.
Germany game.
Germany game. Sorry.
There's a game this week in Madrid. That's Commanders, Vikings,
Dolphins or Vikings. Hold on, I have it here. Dolphins. Commanders, Dolphins. Oh, God. Anyway, no, but yeah, I had asked you, like, is this because this is the second game we saw where the Colts offense was kind of like struggling a little bit. So I asked you, is this the Colts coming down to earth, or is this the Falcons being?
And I think it was kind of a little bit of both, but then the Colts kind of woke themselves up and really.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor was Jonathan Taylor. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, he's. I don't know at this point who else you would vote for, even if the QB. Because
I'll put
I know they're going to vote for somebody else. But he has a 60-yard run, he has a 70-yard run, and now he has an 80-yard run.
I mean, this is again like. I'll say this too. I would vote for Jonathan Taylor and JSN before I vote for a QB.
Yeah.
For MVP. I personally would. But in God's green, like the voters are not gonna vote for a non-QB. They're gonna vote for a QB, unfortunately. Yeah. So but Jonathan Taylor does deserve it. Before we get out of here, Greg Miller does ask us, what do you guys think about Jair Alexander stepping away from the Eagles? I mean, I think that if he says he needs to get right mentally and physically, do what you need to do.
Advocate for yourself, young man.
Yeah, do what you need to do. Our prayers, our thoughts and stuff are with you. Just do what you need to do. So, and I think that he's not officially retiring. He's just stepping away for a bit to figure stuff out. So he's not retired yet. So let's keep that in mind if you're wondering, like, why is he on the retired list? So, because he's not officially retiring yet. So, but yeah, thoughts to him and hope he does well. All right, bro. Good show. Awesome. And I'm glad we were able to go live today. And
thank
to
you
all
for
the people
with us, 60 people here, only one like. Give us a like if you're watching it live now. Give us a like. Throw a football in the chat. Let us know you're watching live. For the rebound, when you guys watch this or listen to it, just go ahead and give us a like so we can get our budget up. You can't see my background makeshift over here. I want to have a set studio.
Yeah, absolutely, and we appreciate it. Like every week, most of the time, you're going to see us on a pre-recorded show on Wednesday mornings at 8:00. But every once in a while, we might surprise you and go live late at night on Tuesday, so we can give you the film breakdowns sooner, as soon as possible, as soon as we can. But appreciate you rocking with us. Please check out our work. We'll have clips from the show, published on A2D socials. We appreciate the support. We're trying our best here to really grow this show, put a lot into it. Like we put a lot of time preparing all these clips and stuff like that. So we really appreciate all your views and support, whatever you can do. We say this all the time. If you have any requests, any questions, hit us up. We're all over social media. You can find me on Twitter, but I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. Message us, tag us, do whatever you need to do, and let us know. And we will definitely be glad to hit on anything you guys want us to cover or answer any questions. But thank you to our sponsor, Alonzi Travel. Again, if you need a vacation or think about a vacation, hit me up. My email is at the bottom on the ticker, charles@alonzi-travel.com. For myself, for Mr. OGP, Pete Evans, and for the rest of us at A2D Radio, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Go Birds. Peace out.